Good morning, Wake Up HCC. Cris Oviedo here with you on this Wednesday. It's Wednesday, September the 8th. I know usually on Wednesday I speak to you in Spanish, but today it's different. Today we have three guests with me this morning. I'm excited. We're going to have a conversation that I admittedly don't know much about necessarily the subject. I just know that my son screams really, really loud whenever he's in front of the computer and playing with his friends, and that he uses that for socialization and as a way to vent. And if you know what, if you have teenage kids in your home, you probably have that same experience. And today we're going to talk about esports. I honestly, and I know Mark, we talked about this last time we got together, and I admitted to you, I said, I had a really hard time with this whole esports and accepting it as a sport, and because I see my son sitting there and just clicking away and like I said, screaming and yelling at the computer when something either works out or doesn't work out. Um, but I have to admit also that I've come to enjoy that so much. I hear him having so much fun with his friends. So I've come to realize that it really is a good way to socialize. That there's a lot of strategies, like he's telling them to go to the front or to push or like all of these things that I'm used to hearing on an actual soccer field, which is what he plays in person. So Mark, let's start with you. And this is Mark Winkle. He is with our division of sports here at Howard Community College. Let's start with you because I know you have a passion for this, and you were the one who said we need to bring esports to HCC. So catch us up a little bit on what's been happening, what you're looking forward to the most in this upcoming season, and where things stand here at HCC with esports. And thank you for joining me and welcome.
Of course. Well, it's been about a year since we last talked, and I could have sworn I just converted you right then. I thought I had you after that last talk that you were all in, but apparently I had to convince you again. It's fine. That's what we're
Well,
here
you're
for.
not at home with me. That's the difference. You're not at home listening to all the screaming, trying to get the rooms clean and not happening.
Yeah. So when we last talked last year, we were just getting ready for our first season, and it was more just trying to figure out as we go, how are we going to make this work? What is it going to be? Kind of just figuring out what we were going to make it. And Um, my primary goal when we first started was let's give an opportunity for students to have a place to be able to compete and play in intercollegiate sports with video games, which is just a fantastic opportunity for so many students that might want to be in that team setting, that competitive setting, but might not, be your professional athlete type like myself. I wanted to be a professional athlete. Look at me. I wasn't born with a body that, strong and fast and everything you need. So, um, just being able to have the opportunity to do it through esports is just a wonderful thing. So the primary goal at first was just let's give them an opportunity to compete. Let's see what we can do, put them out there. And then after our first year, there we are with two conference championships, one from Rocket League, one from League of Legends in our first year. Here we are beating schools like Army West Point Academy, University of Alabama, Boise State, Fresno State, which the Rocket League team just beat again last night. Congratulations to you, Ryan, and your team. Um, and some of these like the biggest schools, the Overwatch team last year, they beat Dartmouth. Howard Community College being an Ivy League school, we out nerded them. I mean, how great is that? Um,
I
it's
love what you
just,
just said right there.
it just, it's the first year had just more success than I could have ever imagined, and from there it's like, all right, so now let's raise the bar. Now what can we do this year? And fortunately, especially with these two right with me here today, I do believe that we can continue to raise the bar, and it's going to be a fun year because the talent level just continues to rise.
That's exciting to hear. And I want to welcome Joseph Dorsey and Ryan McCurdle. I think I'm saying it right. I apologize, Ryan. I should have asked you before we went live how to properly pronounce your name. But, I have to say, you guys are helping me redefine. Like I said, my relationship with the e world, right? Like I can do Facebook, I can do Instagram. When it comes to the actual video game playing, and I don't know that we can count Candy Crush, but that's about it. Like that's as far as I go. Growing up, I played Mario, and I was, I would jump, Mario wouldn't jump, so I was like, this is not working. There's no communication reel here. So, help me, and help us really understand what esports is all about. Maybe what you guys love about it the most, and the future that you guys see. Like, why are you investing all of this time? Because there's a lot of time that you guys are investing to play esports. What's the goal? What do you see as a student, and where that passion comes from? Let's start with you, Joseph.
Okay, awesome. Wow. I guess where I guess let me give it a little bit, I guess, a small background of what I've done with esports and I guess kind of how I got into it. I grew up playing a lot of Super Smash Brothers. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that game, but it's like a Nintendo fighting game. I grew up playing competitive Smash ever since around 2008, 2009. I've been playing that for a really long time, and I got into it largely because as a young kid, I was, I was on the internet constantly. I watched a lot of YouTube growing up, and I recently found I got into like live streaming and got into how tournaments are being held for different games like Super Smash Brothers, and I just basically learned from what the pro players did because I really wanted to become good at the game. And it really kind of starts off with, I guess, kids having a competitive nature, and I was a very competitive kid growing up. Um, and I always wanted to become better than my friends. I think that's a natural thing for a lot of kids, just wanting to become better than their friends and having those bragging rights. You know what I mean? And then I kind of just started off from there, was like, okay, how can I improve? How can I get better? And so I went to the internet for that. And I found that competitive Smash was just this whole new world of gaming and how to basically how to learn everything there is to a game, different exploits, mechanics, everything there is to then better myself. I kind of then took that to a new route where now I'm making content creation on YouTube where I'm making my own videos and stuff like that for Smash Bros and creating guides to help others. But that's kind of how I got into the esports world, was just first figuring out how I could get better. And then I kind of figured out like, oh, there's this whole world outside of just like people playing locally. There's people going to tournaments and playing video games. There are people who are playing in LAN events. There's all sorts of different events that are happening all across the world. And I guess that's kind of how I got started in esports.
Wow. That's one thing that I think defines your generation, that you guys are go-getters. And I love what you said. As you said, I knew that I had a passion for this, that I really enjoyed it. And I was like, let me see what else I can do with this. I don't think my generation necessarily shared as a whole, that type of drive where we were like focusing in on one thing and saying, okay, I really enjoy this. Let me take it as far as I can. And I appreciate that about your generation. Ryan, let's learn a little bit more about you and your relationship, how you got started with esports.
Okay, so my background in esports started when I picked up Rocket League. It was like 2016. It was still fairly a new game. I just played it for fun. My buddies saw it on YouTube and they're like, "Hey, this would be a pretty cool game to try out." And I played it, and I was like, I did not like the game. I'm gonna be honest. I put it down for a long time. I was like, this game sucks. But I picked it back up and started playing a little more just for fun. But I kept playing and playing, and I got better and better. So I started to get into esports. I started to watch all the pro matches. I started watching pros on YouTube, and I guess my passion just grew and grew. I kept practicing, and that takes me to today with HCC. I saw they had a Rocket League team, and I just knew I had to sign up. I guess the things that really draw me to esports is the competition and the team environment. I really like when you get together a group of guys and you all improve together. It's a really cool thing to see.
Mark, tell us a little bit and remind us a little bit about, bringing esports to HCC. That drive, that passion that you said, when you made that decision and you said we have to bring esports to HCC. Let's just talk a little bit more about that. And has it fulfilled all of your visions, or has it exceeded all of your visions?
Well, it's funny because I had been really lobbying to have esports at the college I've worked for the last 5 years, starting at Hartford Community College, then when I came back to Howard Community College. And I was just incredibly fortunate because Dr. Kate Hetherington had also been hearing about the booming esports, the opportunities that could come with it. And through her the support kind of really just trickled down to everybody around the campus. There's been so many people who have contributed to the initiation of the esports program. And I am just lucky enough that I was the one that was told, all right, you're the one that's going to take over it, and you're going to have a ton of support, and all these people want to really chip in because they want to make it work. Um, it was kind of great at practice just last week. Dr. Hetherington just sort of walked in and just like, I had to see it with my own eyes. And through her support, we have a brand new esports competition room. It's still in the final stages of being really fully furnished and everything, but our players have started to be able to play in it. And because of Dr. Hetherington and all of her presence team and everybody that's come together, we now have a room that is dedicated for the advancement of our team to really be able to be in the room, to play together, and to be in that really true team environment. It was tough last year playing completely virtually, Joseph will tell you, just trying to organize everybody from their own homes to, just be able to show up for practices every day, show up for matches on time, do all that, and then build that team chemistry while never actually seeing each other really in person. It's difficult. Now adding in the fact that we all get to be in that room together with the same computers, the same internet connection, all the same things that we need, it's only going to get better from here. So yeah, it's been such a great experience to have the support to really bring it up forward. And then combine with that with the fact that now last year we had 30 some student athletes that were members of the teams, and we had 3 teams. This year we're going to have probably even more because we've added to sponsoring 7 different games. And it's really, it's growing, it's continued to grow. And thankfully, we've just had the support to really have the ability to continue to grow. And like I said, the opportunities to not only just compete, but also to win are there. And seeing the team really come together and it really just show that teamwork, the communication grow, the camaraderie grow every day. That is really what makes it special for me. That is where my passion comes from, because I grew up in sports. I have always loved sports. And then being able to now coach it and coach all of these fine student athletes in these games and see them come together and being able to just share their successes with them and be a part of it. It makes my heart just grow 10 sizes too large or whatever it is from the Grinch. I
I
just
can.
it's amazing. Like last night, for example, the Rocket League team was played in 4 different matches for the preseason of the NECC, the conference we're in. They won all 4 matches. They didn't lose a single game. They swept, and it's just that growing feeling of, man, we have something special here. It's hard not to get excited, hard not to smile for it. And Overwatch, they get to start doing that tomorrow night, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of the similar feelings because it's just a lot of positivity right now.
Well, I certainly feel your passion and your excitement. And, you talked about the internet connection. So I guess you guys are now going to hear each other say we're lagging. I hear that a lot. So that won't be an
No,
issue
the
anymore.
whole point of the room is right. There is no more lagging. Yeah, it's just everybody's good. We're good.
Excellent. Joseph, let's talk about, last year. Let's talk about when you first joined, right? You talked about how you knew that this was happening and your starts with this. When you first joined HCC and the esports team, what were you hoping for? What were you envisioning? What pushed you to take that step and say, I'm just going to join the team and see what happens? And then the reality of it and through COVID and everything else that we've been through in the last few months, maybe some of the biggest lessons or maybe some of the things that you did not expect and that actually came through that experience of joining the esports team here at Howard Community College.
Well, first thing I want to say is I decided to go to HCC because there was an esports team. That was one of the reasons why I decided to go to HCC, because originally I was looking at all the options because I just graduated in 2020 from high school. I was looking at all the options that I had to go for school, and I was looking at 4 universities, and I was looking at all the different issues that were happening with COVID at the time. And then I thought to myself, like, I should also look at the passions that I have and maybe different careers I might want to have in the future. And I've always been invested in esports. And then when I saw that HCC had an Overwatch team and had an esports team, I was like, I gotta do this. Like, this is something that would be super awesome to be invested into, to meet new people through it. Because I already knew that with COVID being a thing, it would be hard for me to establish friendships with other people in classes and things like that, because I'm not seeing them all the time or interacting with them all the time. But I can safely say that that first year that I had with esports, I made a ton of friends through my team that it would have been a lot that in my classes, it would have been a lot harder to make friends with some of those people, because some of those classes were even asynchronous. So we didn't even get to see people's faces. And yet with my teammates, like that entire year of 2020, like that whole season, we like coach said earlier, I only met my teammates twice in real life. Once to get our jerseys and then once for a team dinner. That was it. But yeah, I established a lot of friendships through that way. And it was, how do I say it? It was exactly kind of as I envisioned. I knew that COVID was going to be an issue. I knew, but the one thing I also, I guess, kind of caught me off guard was that how much we become almost like a family. Like I consider my teammates like brothers and sisters. Like we talk to each other all the time. We have like a Discord server where we have like a chat room. We talk all the time. We talk about everything from not just gaming, just to schoolwork, life in general. I mean, we really just bonded with each other. And I guess that's pretty much been my experience with HCC. And I just know it's only going to get better from there. Now that we have the esports arena, I can actually, like, talk to my teammates in person, face to face. We're going to be able to interact with each other. I mean, literally in the esports arena after my classes, like I'll go in the arena, study, and we just talk about like schoolwork or life or different student things that you get that experience. I get that experience through esports. Like it's not something that I can just like grow. It's something that I have to get through. I can get through that medium, and esports has been able to change my life for the better. And I'm really glad that HCC has given me this opportunity.
So it sounds like it's enhancing your student experience here at Howard Community College. And I'm really glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that it's because I think that, and I think part of the reason why it's for my generation, it's hard is because gaming was a distraction for a generation, right? But here we're bringing it, and we're bringing it as a part of that experience, and we're making it part of life, and we're bringing it into some of the lessons even that you're learning. Ryan, I know that you're nodding, and I want to hear your thoughts too, because you said something earlier. You said that kind of like what Joseph just said, that coming together and that growing together. Can you tell us a little bit about your expectations, Ryan, since you're coming in fresh into the team, of what what maybe you were envisioning, what you're hoping to accomplish, and what's driving you to join HCC and the esports team?
Okay, yeah. So well, I graduated high school in 2018, and I took classes kind of on and off, not full time at HCC. And as I made the decision to transfer into or transition into full time school, I wasn't sure if I wanted to transfer, stay at HCC. I still didn't know, but with the establishment of the esports program, I knew right then and there I wanted to stay here, and I wanted to join the Rocket League team. And as for my expectations, we have high expectations this season. We want to win everything. We want to win absolutely everything. And when you get together with a group of people and you're competing every night, you're practicing, it forms a special kind of bond. And we're all really good friends, like Joseph said. I mean, we talk about not just esports, but we talk about classes, we talk about life. So I'm really happy that I joined the team.
So let's bring academics into our conversation, right? How is this working, or maybe what are some of the challenges of, managing your practices and homework and academics and moving towards that goal of graduating and that next step, that whatever that means in your lives. How are what are some of those valuable lessons that you're learning through having to pay full commitment, right, to both the esports team and your academics? And I'll let either one of you guys take that.
It's a lot of work. We have to practice a lot, but school is also a priority because that's all of our futures. So we've learned a lot of valuable lessons on managing our time and really setting a schedule and sticking to it. So one of the most important things is staying organized. And we have a team Excel sheet for all of our practice times so we can schedule everything around our classes. And if there's ever a conflict, if that may arise, then I always say that school is the priority. But you know, if you stay organized, there shouldn't be those conflicts happening, and we can manage both and put in the time we need for both things.
Mark, from the coach's perspective, right? When you're looking at any sport really, but esports I think is a little bit different in the sense that, you know, for soccer, for basketball, you kind of need to have a certain type of space, right? Whereas now for esports, you need your computer, which I think most of us have at home. I do understand that not every computer works as well. And like we said earlier, you need good Wi-Fi. But generally speaking, I think it's easier to access esports, you know, wherever you go. Whereas you know, some of the other sports, not as easy if you don't have all the equipment necessarily that you need. So when you were developing this program, Mark, when you were bringing it to HCC, what are some of those thoughts? What are some of those goals that you already had um, in trying to help the students manage the time, understanding that this is a commitment at the same time, this is something that the kids find really, really fun. Maybe there would be some challenges, you know, like all of that, and bringing this brand new sport that still has some apprehension. I'm on that team, right? I'm on team apprehension. I'm like, I want my son to have a lot of fun, but you know, I also want him to not spend so much time on the screen. And then you had COVID and we were all day on the screen. So I can imagine that you know, that was there was a lot of talk about how sitting down for so much time was affecting our youth. You know, all of these things, all of this considerations. When you are putting this program together, Mark, tell us more about that and tell us more about that balance, because I know that that's basically what Ryan just talked about. He said we need to find the balance. We need to keep our priorities in check.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to invite you to a match sometime to get you off of team apprehension and onto team esports. So that's just first. We're going to get on that. Um, no, so honestly, the esports room will do more for that than you can imagine. Like already, like Joseph was saying, I see, you know, I'll go into the esports room and there are guys that are in there doing homework, doing classwork. That sometimes they're helping each other out. They're like, you know, they're helping each other with their homework, trying to understand, tutoring each other to make sure that those academics are set to go so that when practice time comes, that's not a concern, you know, it's already been taken care of. And that way, like they said, they can stay organized. All right, I've got the schoolwork done. Now it's time to get into practice. I can put 100% of myself into that. I've said from the start that I want this esports room to almost be like their home away from home. I want them to feel comfortable that they can come in here. If they want to hang out a little bit, you know, we're going to get some couches in there and really just make them feel like if they want to hang out and relax, if they want to do their schoolwork between practices and matches, that's fine. I want them to feel comfortable there because that is going to help them, again, increase that student athlete experience. Again, that's the cliche is that student always comes first in student athlete. The rules say that our student athletes have to keep a 2.0 GPA or higher to stay eligible. I typically tell them, no, I want 3.0. Because one of the big things is there are scholarship opportunities for esports right now. One of our players last year got a scholarship to go to Mount St. Mary's to play esports. And a big part of that was because his academics were just as good as his esport athletic ability. And I'm trying to encourage all of them, listen, you get good grades and you keep playing well, I will find you places to play after Howard Community College. You know, that the school slogan is, you know, you can get there from here. No better reason to do that than through athletics and esports is because we are going to give them the opportunity, the exposure to get their names out there. And that the better their academics are, the more easy it is for me to say, hey, listen, you know, whatever big school around, this is a great kid. They've got great grades. They're a great player. You need them on your team. And more often than not, they listen to me, which is great. We do have a great support system here. We've got an athletics department that is set up to make sure that all of our student athletes succeed in the classroom. So because the esports players are treated as any other student athlete, we have completion specialists, we have grade checks, we have, we need to make sure that they stay eligible, obviously, but we make sure that they know that the academics need to be good for them to even be able to even think about competing athletically. And thankfully for me, I have not had a single problem with that. I'm lucky enough to have some fantastic student athletes who really understand that and get that and understand, like Ryan was just saying, that the academics are going to be the ones that really set themselves up for the future, and the athletics are the ones that get to just increase the experience. And I love to hear that, Ryan. Great job. Way to get the message. I'm proud of you. Joseph, you were one of my best students last year, so I know I don't even have to worry about you. Um, it's been great to really see that that commitment is there for the both academics and athletics. And like I said, I really think that the esports arena being able to come together and have that as a resource in addition to all the other resources that they're offered here at Howard Community College, it will only get better and better. And Joseph, you can speak to what your first year was compared to what you're hoping for this year coming up. But like I said, you're a fantastic student, so you're going to succeed no matter what you do.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
So Mark, let's usually for traditional sports you have like the tryouts and you have all of this, process to really be able to make it to the team, right? Is there a process like that to play esports? Do you guys have to play against each other and only winners make it to the team, or is this open to everybody to come and join the team?
So we have a fully inclusive program where anybody that is wanting to join the team and is dedicated to putting in the what we expect any of our student athletes to put in can and will be a part of the team. We are absolutely open to that, as long as they fit the, like I said, the academic expectations, as well as the commitment, the dedication, and fit in personality wise. We don't want anybody that's going to come in here and ruin the great chemistry that we have. But if as long as those three things are in line, absolutely we are open to anybody joining the team. Now, obviously, when we get into matches, there's going to be a little bit more of a selection about who's in the starting lineup, who's really going to play. But there are opportunities like for Rocket League, for example, we have so many great student athletes that want to be a part of the team. We actually made a second team to give more student athletes a chance to be able to compete in it because we had so many really committed, dedicated players. So there are always going to be opportunities. We're just adding Super Smash Brothers to our offerings this year. I've already had 3, 4 people say they want to play. How can I be a part of it? They want to be okay. Well, we'll find a way, whether it's, tournaments here and there, different competitions, we will find a way to get you involved because I want to make sure that anybody that really wants to put in the time and dedication to the team, there's a spot open for you. There is an opportunity for you, and we'll find a way to get you involved one way or another. And I like to think personally, and maybe I'm a little biased, but that we have done a good job of making sure that anybody that really wants to be a part of the team has a role on the team.
Joseph, three top qualities to be a good esports athlete.
Okay. Three top qualities. Well, as Coach said earlier, I think first you just have to have the good grades and be good academically. Like that should be your first priority. And you're not gonna, and as Ryan said, you're not gonna be able to go anywhere unless you have that in check. So of course, being a great student, I think is the first thing. Um, Second, I would just say, I guess these kind of go, I guess it's kind of more than three, but like these kind of go hand in hand. It's just not only just being a good player, but also you have to be able to work along with your team and kind of build a chemistry with them. If you don't communicate, or if you struggle with communication, because that's a big thing, you kind of have to be able to bond with your team while also being able to show your team that you have skill, that you have the skill necessary, or if you have skill or potential that can grow. I think that's kind of like the second point. I kind of already gave two, but I guess a third point, a third point I would say is, as Ryan was talking about earlier, being able to juggle, I guess, academics and those skills together. Because a lot of people can say, oh, well, they're really good at playing the game, but they may not be able to have good grades, or it's vice versa. If you're able to figure out that balance, schedule your own time. I know for me, like I have several alarms on my phone for doing certain things for school, getting schoolwork done, when I needed to turn in certain assignments. I have a huge calendar that I have set up and all that good stuff. Luckily, I have technology to do that for me. But I work around that schedule. I work around what my professors if they assign me for school. If I have an assignment, for example, or if I have a game and I know, okay, I have a game on this day and I have homework that's also due on that same day, I know, okay, well, for me, I have to have that done 2 to 3 days in advance because I want to be able to set aside time for me to practice or work out all the kinks in my own personal gameplay before the game happens. And so that's kind of like, I guess, one of the ways that I find that balance of like doing schoolwork and then getting other tasks done. But yeah, even for students out there who may have other duties that they do at home, chores, whatever, you have to be able to figure out how to balance all of that. I know for me, I run my own, like I talked about earlier, I run my own business. I make YouTube videos on YouTube. I've been doing that for quite some time now. I also fit that into my schedule. Um, you have to be able to figure out a way to manage your time. It's so crucial.
Ryan, you said earlier that you guys want to win everything this season. How do we do that? What does it take to become champions and win, everything?
Well, it takes a strong work ethic, and a lot of work goes in behind the scenes in our practices, in our scrimmages against other colleges. And we have to make sure that on a week by week basis, we figure out what we need to work on and improve from our matches. And we go ahead and work on that. And we come out the next week stronger.
So, Mark, let's talk about the upcoming season. Let's talk about maybe some key dates. Do you guys have the tournaments already lined up, or is it more fluid? Is it more like tournaments come up and you guys just decide to join them? Tell me more about that. And our practice is set, our team set. Can our students, maybe somebody's listening and watching right now, and they're like, I want to be part of that. Is it too late for me to join? How do I join? Right? Talk about the upcoming season.
No, it's not too late for you to join. You can try out today. Come on over to the esports room. I'm talking to you, Chris. You're coming up to try out today. Um, no, we don't really have like tryout dates. We have an open, like I said, open inclusive. So anybody that expresses an interest in wanting to join, we can always add you onto the roster. So absolutely, if you have an interest, reach out to me. There's always an opening. That being said, yeah, so we do have 3 major competitions that we compete in throughout the year. And the first is the NECC, which is the New England Collegiate Conference, which is actually an NCAA conference for all the other sports, but they started an esports program or conference that now has over like 80 schools involved. Like it's become a massive organization. And I found out actually recently we were the 6th ones to join. And so just knowing that we were right there at the very start of it, and now it's just grown to this massive thing. Um, it's fun. We were actually, and I found out that we were the first school to win multiple championships for the conference and the first ones to do it in multiple game titles last year. So it's fun knowing that we were at the very base level of this huge organization. And again, this is a one that has schools across the country. There's a bunch from California and all over. Some of the biggest schools you've ever heard of, they're a part of it. So that's a lot of fun. This year, for the first time, we are joining the NJCAAE. So the NJCAA is basically the NCAA, but for junior colleges. So it's the national affiliation for all community colleges. And we are joining that this year for the first time. And again, those are regularly scheduled matches. There's a same with the NECC. There's a regular season. If you do well enough, you qualify for the postseason. There's going to be a playoffs, and you try to get to the championship game. But the nice thing about that is that there's going to be a national championship for all of the community colleges. So, and for example, again, not to keep tooting our horn, but Rocket League last night played against the defending NJCAE national champions, and we swept them. So not to, keep that bar pretty high, but right now that's where we're at. Like, Ryan was talking about, we want it in red and everything. I'll be honest, I've got the same expectation that if they lose a match, I'm going to be like, okay, but why? We shouldn't have. Let's go back and figure out why we lost it, because there's no reason for us to lose anything. We are just that talented right now and that dedicated, and which is a fun place to be, obviously.
No pressure, huh?
Yeah, right. No, I think they relish the pressure. I mean, you can ask these guys, but I think they enjoy it. I think they enjoy the fact that I am absolutely setting these expectations on them and that they want to rise to it. I have not met a single student athlete that has heard that and be like, "Oh, no, I don't like that." No, they love it. They want that which is great. That's the student athletes that I want to have around. And then the last one is the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference, which is just a local organization, and like, as Mid-Atlantic, so a lot of the local schools around, and hopefully they're going to start, Joseph was kind of alluding to this before, hopefully they do some LAN tournaments, which is local area network, which means in person, all the teams show to one place and be able to compete in person. I'm really hoping that we get some of those opportunities with some local tournaments, because it would just be a lot of fun to do that and really show up. Who doesn't love going on a little road trip? Staying overnight in a hotel, eat a whole lot of pizza or something like that, and then showing up and just whooping butt. So we're hoping we get those opportunities this year. But yeah, so those are the three major competitions we're in. They are, like I said, they're regularly scheduled. We get a whole regular season schedule. It's very similar to what you would consider traditional athletics is that whole, regulated schedule. You play this team at this time, and whoever wins it goes into the standings, and you've got to qualify for playoffs and then go win a championship. So it's fun that esports realm has really learned how to treat it like it is a traditional sport, because it helps build that structure that people can understand. And maybe, the casual fans who are understanding that, hey, this is a lot of fun to watch. It's easy to follow, easy to be like, okay, I can look at a standings, I can look at a playoff bracket and really understand what's going on. It helps to bring everybody together and enjoy the sport a little bit more.
Is the sport seasonal like some of the other sports, or is this year round? Is this something that you also play like maybe in the summer? Is it like a summer league and a winter league? Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, so for these conferences, they actually have fall competitions, and then they have spring competitions. So you get to win multiple championships in a year, which is fun, which we will. um, but then, yeah, so then there's also sprinkled around everywhere, there's random other tournaments. So there's college esports tournaments all over the place and we can enter in. So, between, yeah, there are competitions in the winter. There are some like in the summer that we could enter in, and it's just more about what we want to do at that point. If our schedules all line up and everybody's like, yeah, hey, this would be a fun one. Let's get into it. Sure, let's go for it. And try to go win some prizes and all this stuff. Absolutely, we'll throw them in there. Our main focus will always be the conferences we're in, but it is basically year round. I mean, there are always going to be competitions, and that's kind of the fun of it, is that for those that are fully dedicated, we can keep competing all year long, keep everybody together and keep them going. And it's great. There's never a dull moment, that's for sure.
Are the teams set? Like, let's say, I'm gonna put all three of you guys together in a Rocket League team, right? And you guys enter a tournament. Do you guys have the opportunity to maybe sub, or like, can it be a roster of 6 and you guys can just be subbing in and out in different games, or is it a team of 3 that stays for the entire time together?
Well, I can tell you that if we're a Rocket League team, we're in trouble, because Ryan's really going to have to carry us big time. One of my favorite parts about the esports teams is the fact that basically every one of the student athletes know how bad I am compared to them. If I jumped in the game in any of them, they're all going to whoop me good. But they still listen to me, which is great, and I'm very thankful to that, because I can provide some insight, some help to it. But anyways, getting back to your actual point, not the one that I decided to go on the tangent for. So we are able to make in-game substitutions, like for Overwatch, for example. There's it's best of 3 for rounds. So if after the first round, hey, you know what, something's not working, maybe we can sub in this person, try a different team composition. We've done that before. We did that last year. We have that ability to do that. Same thing for Rocket League. Typically you'll have one substitution that's kind of waiting on standby. Hey, something's just not working. It's just not clicking. Or sometimes, if the score is very lopsided one way or another, hey, let's try something different. Let's sub you in, and get somebody else in there a chance. So there are definitely possibilities. Typically, we go into the season kind of having an idea of who the starting lineup will be, and we'll stick with that for the most part. But again, as with any sport, throughout the year, sometimes somebody just really puts in that extra practice time, really dedicates, and just gets better and better. And all of a sudden, wow, maybe I have to put this person in the starting lineup more, because they're just getting that much better. So there's always opportunities to kind of grow the role throughout the year as well. And so there's again, it's I keep using the word opportunity. There's an opportunity to get into each game. There's an opportunity to get into the starting lineup, into the team, into different ways of helping the team. But so yeah, it's great because the again, the drive, the dedication, the wanting to get better, the wanting to be the best, to win is always there. And no matter what the person's role is on the team, everybody that's really on it is just trying to keep getting better and find ways to help.
Are esports co-ed, or is there like a women's league and a guys league? Is this something that everybody plays? And I know that we had at least one female participant last year. So talk a little bit about the role that girls are playing in esports.
Yeah, so one of my continued goals will always be, and I will express this for as long as I'm in the business, is to strive for 50-50 female to male gender participation. I will continue to go for it. So last year we did have a couple of fantastic females, one in particular on the Overwatch team who was just a star player. And unfortunately for me, not unfortunately for her, she graduated and transferred over to Towson University and is doing great. So I'm proud of her, but we do have 3 females on the team this year. And again, we're trying to grow it. It is completely co-ed. So we just have, we'll just have one team. Rocket League, we have a female that's on the team. She will be on one of our teams. She will be playing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do. Our League of Legends team, who we do not have a representative for in this, we've got 2 females on that team. And again, looking to really get them to grow their involvement on the team. And I really think that female participation in video games as a whole is increasing more and more with each generation. And I think as we continue to grow the program, I think we will see an increase in female involvement. And I will fully encourage it. I cannot wait to see more and more females come out and want to participate and compete with our teams.
How many games are we playing currently at HCC this semester?
Yeah, so we started at 3 last year, Overwatch, Rocket League, and League of Legends, and we have added on what are the console games. So like the consoles being PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox. So we've added on Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo, and then for both Xbox and PlayStation, we've added on the sports games. So adding on Madden for the football, FIFA for soccer, as well as NBA 2K for basketball. So for those are more like not as structured like regular season, but for the most part, they're more like tournaments that are throughout the year through our conference, and just having participation in those is going to help increase our publicity, our face that's putting out there. So I have had a lot of interest in some of those console games. I mentioned earlier that I've had a ton of interest in Super Smash Brothers, and we've got a really strong group of players that are going to be representing Howard Community College. And we're just now starting to get more and more players who are saying, hey, I want to get involved in FIFA. I want to get involved in Madden and NBA 2K. And like I said, it's growing the program. It's just growing and growing and growing. I get messages weekly about, hey, when are you going to get this game? When are you going to get this game? Wanting to add more. And I'm trying. I would love to just add every video game possible into our esports program, but we're slightly limited on what we can do. But I just want to see the program continue to develop and really provide the student body an opportunity to give them that chance to compete in the games that they want to. And I will listen. I'll continue to listen to the voice of the students. And if there's enough interest in one game or another that really we could put a team together, then I'll do it. I want to make it happen.
We only have about 9 minutes left. So I want to look into the future, and I want Joseph, let's start with you. Tell us, 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? And let's make it a double question, I guess. End of the semester. What's the future for the esports team at HCC? And then 5 years from now, where are you going to be?
Okay, so well, first of all, I definitely like as Ryan said earlier, I definitely want to win a championship this year. Hopefully be multiple championships for the Overwatch team. I think that's one of our goals. Also I just I guess a goal for me is just by the end of the year as well is just I just want to become, I guess, better, I guess, more of a better, not just a teammate, but also better friends with my teammates. Because one thing that I've learned, even through my 1 year of like all virtual college last year, was that, you know, in college, these are the relationships that you're going to have, that you're going to be with these people and most likely see these people because you have similar interests with them for almost the rest of your life. And so I want to be able to establish even stronger relationships with my teammates. And well, I even consider my friends. So um, 5 years from now, where do I see myself? Well, after Howard Community College, I plan to get my AA degree and then go to a four-year university. I want to continue to compete in esports. So wherever four-year university I go to will most likely be a four-year university with an esports team, and I'll continue to play in Overwatch and try out for other teams. One of the schools that I'm looking at currently right now is actually Shenandoah University in Virginia. They have an esports team there. I'm looking to I'm actually signed up for one of their showcases actually that I'm going to be competing in later this month. I'm looking to go to a school similar to that, play on an esports team. They also have an esports major there as well, an esports business administration major. My major currently at HEC is business administration. I've always been invested in, I guess, the marketing side of business and I guess the business world, especially search engine optimization and how the internet kind of plays into things. As I mentioned earlier, I run a YouTube channel. I'm a huge person. I'm definitely into data analytics and how, I guess, how people, I guess, traffic goes from people finding something on the internet and then going to something different. I've always been a big advocate for that, and that's something I would like to explore more. And hopefully through esports and through that major at that school, I can learn not only about the esports world, but also about business and how the two play hand to hand. Because, you know, there are massive corporations out there, as Coach was talking about earlier, that not only make video games, but the producers of these games have esports at the professional level. For example, Overwatch has the Overwatch League, where they have people who make hundreds of thousands of dollars playing video games for a living. And people do that. That's the world we live in right now.
Ryan, same question for you. You know, tell us what's the future for esports for the team this semester, and where do you see yourself in about 5 years?
Okay, well, for the team this semester, we just want to keep growing our chemistry and our bond with each other. We're already really good friends, so we're on the right track there. And we want to win everything, like I said. And we hold ourselves to that high standard because we know we can get there, and we know the work we need to put in to do it. As for myself, 5 years from now, that's a pretty big question. I would like to transfer to a university. I'm a comp sci major. I would like to continue playing esports after Howard Community College. And hopefully in 5 years, I'll have my bachelor's in computer science and get into the industry and start working.
You know, Joseph, it's really interesting what you said, that there's, you know, you can make a living of playing, you know, video games, and it's all new to me. It's something I never considered. It's something that it's kind of foreign in honesty. You know, to me, I've heard of it, I knew about it, but I've never really thought about it until you just mentioned all of these business opportunities. I mean, there's, you know, all of these industries out there that are happening. So if this is something that you are interested in, this is something that you're passionate about, come to HEC, come talk to us. I mean, the semester did start, you know, fall semester already started, but it's not too late. You can still register. You can still, like Mark said, you can still join the team. So it's not too late. If this is something that you are thinking as a career, HEC can help you get there. So, Mark, tell us, you know, I'm going to ask you that same question. Tell us about the future for esports, but also tell us how we can get in touch with you and how we can continue to stay up to date on what's happening with esports here at Howard Community College.
Oh, so you want to know what I'm doing in 5 years from now? Shopping for a much larger trophy case, much larger, like huge trophy case. No, 5 years from now, honestly, I'm so happy with where things are at right now that if 5 years from now we have the program basically where it's at right now and continuing to bring in more students, more opportunities, more games, and I couldn't be happier than I am right now. I'm thrilled with my situation. I'm thrilled with the situation of the program, and if I'm doing this exact same thing 5 years from now, I'm going to be a very happy man. So I just want to keep letting everybody know that yes, there is always an opportunity here. You can reach out to me on my email, which is mwinkle@howardcc.edu. We are on the athletics website. All of the esports rosters, schedule, news, everything like that will be on the Howard Athletics website. So if you want to get more information on esports and all the athletic programs, it's howardccdragons.com. And if you're interested, there's a prospect form under the recruiting drop down where you can just fill out the prospect form, tell me which game you're interested in, and your basic contact info, and I'll get right back to you and let you know what the next steps are. But yeah, it just, like I said, there's always an opportunity. There's always a chance for anybody to get involved. And as you can hear from these two fine gentlemen right here, it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a fun program to be a part of, and we're just going to have a blast doing it.
And we're winning it all. It's what I keep hearing. And
Winning it all.
you
Just
know,
everything.
I believe you guys. I believe you guys. So I'll be checking in. I'll be definitely keeping up on what you guys are doing. I don't know that I can take you up on that invitation to come and play, because I've been told by my son, who is my personal expert, that I totally suck and I just don't understand how to play video games. So I'll come watch and I'll bring him to watch. You know, we'll have a good time. But that's, you know, if it, maybe this is an opportunity for a community also to come and support you guys. So as you guys continue to develop, yes, do check in with howardcc.edu. Do what I do, go to the search bar and just type on their esports. That's going to bring you to their page. That's going to bring you up to date on what's happening. But let's cheer them on. I mean, because coming in new, young, you know, a community college, like you said, against Ivy League schools and winning. I mean, there's something to be very proud of. So I congratulate you guys. You guys taught me a lot through this conversation. You guys opened my eyes to the fact that yes, we are serious about esports, but we're serious about our careers. We're serious about our future. This is not a game, you know, pun intended, right? This is more than that. We know that this is the real deal. And I really appreciate that you guys are lecturing me on that this morning. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Ryan, for sharing this space and this time with me. And thank you, everybody, for listening, for watching. If you want more information, howardcc.edu, search bar esports, and you'll find all of the information. Connect with Mark, connect with us. Have a wonderful Wednesday. And until next time, I am Cris Oviedo.